Hello, Mr. Bruce Wayne. Thank you so much for taking your time and giving me the opportunity to present this presentation today. The purpose of this presentation is to review your current investment portfolio and discuss the importance of portfolio rebalancing as a part of your long-term investment strategy. Today, I will explain what strategic asset allocation is, how portfolio drift occurs over time, and why rebalancing is important. Now, and also I'll mention the specific rebalancing recommendations that I'm going to propose for your portfolio. My goal is to ensure that your investments continue to align with your financial objectives, risk tolerance, and long-term wealth preservation strategy. Let's just quickly give you a recap about what strategic asset allocation is. It is the foundation of a disciplined investment strategy. It involves dividing a portfolio among different asset classes such as fixed income, Canadian and US equities, and international investment. The is to create a well-balanced portfolio that matches an investor's time horizon, financial goals, and risk tolerance. For your portfolio, the target allocation was designed to maintain a balance between growth and stability. This approach follows a long-term investment strategy and generally reflects a passive investing style, where the portfolio is monitored periodically rather than traded frequently. A proper structured strategic asset allocation helps optimize returns while managing overall portfolio risk. Now this chart represents your strategic asset allocation. Your portfolio is diversified across multiple asset classes, including fixed income, Canadian equities, US equities, foreign development equities, and emerging markets. This diversification is important because different asset classes perform differently under changing market condition. While equities may provide higher long-term growth potential, fixed income investments help provide stability and reduce volatility. The objective of this allocation is to maintain a balanced portfolio that supports long-term capital growth while keeping risk at, at an acceptable level. Now, let's just talk about how asset allocation changes over time. Although a portfolio begins with a carefully designed allocation, market performance naturally causes changes over time. Some asset classes outperform others during certain periods. For example, if equity markets perform strongly, equity holdings being to represent a larger portion of the portfolio. On the other hand, asset classes with weaker performance may decline in proportion. This process is known as portfolio drift. Over time, the portfolio may move away from the original target allocation and become exposed to a higher level of risk than initially intended. This is why ongoing portfolio monitoring and periodic rebalancing are essential. Right, as I mentioned previously about the strategic asset allocation and how it can change over time. Now I'll just talk about the rebalancing and what the rebalancing process is. It's basically the process of adjusting the portfolio back to its original strategic allocation. This is achieved by selling investments that have grown beyond their target weight and reinvesting the proceeds into underweight asset classes. The primary objective of rebalancing is to maintain the intent balance between risk and return. It also helps improve long-term portfolio discipline by preventing emotional investment decisions driven by market movements. In simple terms, rebalancing basically allows investors to systematically sell high and buy low while keeping the portfolio aligned with the long-term goals and their initial strategic asset allocation. Now, in this slide, we're going to talk about the benefits of rebalancing. Now, there are several important benefits associated with portfolio rebalancing. First, it helps maintain the desired level within the portfolio by preventing excessive exposure to a single asset class. Second, it encourages disciplined investing by following a more structured process rather than reacting emotionally to short-term market fluctuations. Third, rebalancing allows investors lock in gains from asset classes that have performed well and reinvest into areas that may currently be undervalued. The example shown here demonstrates how rebalanced portfolio can provide better stability and risk management compared to our unrebalanced and unmanaged portfolio over time. This slide compares a portfolio that is left with no rebalancing and the one that is rebalanced annually. Both started with a 60 and 40% mix of equities and fixed income. After 1 year, equities raised 10% and the fixed income raised 5%, pushing the portfolio to $108,000 and making equities overweight. If we do nothing and enter year two with not much equity, with too much equity exposure, so when equities fall 15%, we're left with $98,100. However, in the rebalanced scenario, if we reset the mix back to 60 and 40 and end the year one by selling some of the equities and buy some fixed income, this reduces the equity exposure before the downturn. So the year two, the loss is smaller and the portfolio ends slightly higher at $98,280. The key message is that rebalancing helps control risk and smooth returns by maintaining the intended asset mix. After putting your current investment portfolio numbers into Y chart, we got your present asset allocation on the left where it says the portfolio is overweight in US equities and international equities, primarily due to stronger market performance in those sectors. At the same time, Canadian equities, emerging market, and fixed income holdings have become underweight relative to the original allocation targets. So this slide highlights how your current portfolio has deviated from its original target allocation. These deviations are normal result of market movements. However, if left unaddressed, they may increase the portfolio's overall risk exposure and reduce diversification benefit. Now, Mr. Wayne, this slide outlines the specific rebalancing actions that I'm recommending to bring your portfolio back in line with your initial long-term strategic asset allocation. What you see here is a comparison between your current holdings and the target values based on your investment strategy and the resulting buy and sell actions needed to realign the portfolio. Starting with Canadian equities, your position is slightly underweight, so I am recommending a $2,790 purchase to bring it up to the desired level. On the other hand, your US equity fund is currently overweight by $4,455, so trimming that position will help reduce concentration risk. The international equity fund shows the largest deviation with an excess of $8,090, which is why I am recommending a sell there as well. Your emerging markets allocation is only modestly overweight, requiring a small $655 reduction. The most significant adjustment is in fixed Income. Your global bond position is well below the target allocation, so I'm recommending $10,410 purchase to strengthen the defensive portion of your portfolio. This helps restore balance between the growth and stability, especially in today's market environment. After these trades, your total portfolio value remains the same, but the asset mix becomes properly aligned with your strategic plan. So this pie chart on the right shows your new allocation after rebalancing with improved diversification and more appropriate level of fixed income exposure. Overall, these adjustments position your portfolio to better support your long-term goals and while managing risk efficiently. Well, in conclusion, the portfolio rebalancing is an important part of long-term portfolio management. While market movement is naturally cause allocations to drift over time, period rebalancing helps maintain the diversification, control risk, and support disciplined investing. Based on the analysis of your portfolio, Mr. Bruce Wayne, I believe these recommendations adjustments will strengthen overall structure of your investment and better align the portfolio with your long-term objectives. Now, Mr. Bruce Wayne, please let me know how you feel about proceeding with the recommended rebalancing strategy.